Day 18. 3 stories broke in the last 24 hours that each, individually, would dominate the news cycle on any normal day. They all happened on the same day. Iran's most powerful surviving official is dead. The director of America's National Counterterrorism Center just resigned, and his reason for leaving is a direct challenge to the justification for this entire war. And the United Arab Emirates closed its airspace completely, the first full airspace shutdown in the country's history, as Iranian missiles and drones came in overnight. 3 stories, 13 minutes, let's go. 0:45 to 4:30. Ali Larijani is dead. Israel struck him overnight on March 17th. Iran's own Supreme National Security Council confirmed his death hours later. He was 67 years old. He was the secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, the most powerful security position left standing in Iran after Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed on February 28th. To understand why this matters, you need to understand who Larijani actually was. He was not a hardliner in the traditional mold. He held a doctorate in Western philosophy from the University of Tehran. His thesis was on Immanuel Kant. He spoke the language of diplomacy. He had negotiated Iran's nuclear file with the West. He had served as Speaker of Parliament for over a decade. Inside Iran's political system, figures like Larijani are rare. He could operate simultaneously inside the security state and in external negotiation channels. He understood how to talk to Washington, even while Tehran was firing missiles at Washington's bases. When Khamenei was killed on day 1, Larijani stepped forward. On March 1st, 24 hours after Khamenei's death, he appeared on state television and announced he would head an interim committee to run the country. The man who was technically elected Supreme Leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, the late leader's son, has not appeared in public since his appointment on March 8th. No video, no audio. A single written statement read by a television presenter. In practice, Larijani was running Iran's day-to-day response to this war. He was the public face of Iranian defiance. He attended the Al-Quds Day rally on March 13th, walking through crowds in Tehran in the middle of active bombardment, an act of deliberate visibility in a war where most Iranian leaders have gone underground. He posted on social media the day before he died. He told Trump directly, "The Iranian people do not fear your empty threats. Beware lest you be the ones who disappear." 24 hours later, he was dead. The IDF called him the de facto leader of the Iranian regime. Defense Minister Israel Katz confirmed the killing. Netanyahu issued a statement saying the killing was part of an effort to give the Iranian people a path to overthrow their own government. Also killed in the same overnight strike, Gholam Reza Soleimani, the commander of the Basij paramilitary force. The Basij is the internal militia Iran uses to crush civilian protests. His deputy was killed alongside him. The IDF said the majority of Basij leadership was eliminated overnight. Iran confirmed both deaths. Now here is the analysis question that matters most right now. One expert put it this way: Larijani was one of the few people inside the Iranian system who could help manage not just how wars are fought, but how they end. He had the credibility inside the security state to shape military decisions. He had the diplomatic track record to engage externally when the time came. That combination, insider credibility plus external legitimacy, is extraordinarily rare in any government. It is especially rare in Iran's clerical system. He is gone now, and the question every analyst should be asking is, who in Iran's remaining leadership can play that role? Because wars do not end on the battlefield, they end in negotiations. And you need someone who can credibly represent both sides of that conversation. Larijani was that person. 4:30 to 8:30. The second story broke the same morning. Joe Kent, director of the United States National Counterterrorism Center, posted his resignation letter on social media. He is the first senior Trump administration official to resign over this war. And the reason he gave is not a policy disagreement about tactics or strategy. His reason goes to the foundation of why this war was started. His exact words, from the resignation letter posted publicly on his own account: "I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby." Let that sit for a moment. Joe Kent is not a Democrat. He is not a foreign policy critic from the opposition. He is a retired Army Green Beret who completed 11 combat deployments across the Middle East. He became a CIA paramilitary officer after leaving the military. He ran twice for Congress as a Trump-aligned Republican. He was confirmed by a Republican Senate to his intelligence position. He worked directly under Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence. He was Trump's man. And his resignation letter says Iran posed no imminent threat to the United States. This matters beyond the politics of one official leaving. The legal and constitutional basis for the president ordering military strikes without a congressional declaration of war rests on the claim of imminent threat. The administration has maintained throughout this conflict that Iran posed an imminent threat that justified immediate military action. The director of the National Counterterrorism Center, the official whose entire job was to assess exactly those kinds of threats, is now saying publicly and on the record that the imminent threat claim was not accurate. Trump's response was immediate. He told reporters Kent was a nice guy but very weak on security. He said it was a good thing Kent was out. A senior White House official told reporters they were shocked by the resignation and noted the rarity of a public resignation of this kind. 3 separate White House officials, speaking anonymously, gave 3 different explanations for why Kent left, ranging from him being a leaker who had been cut out of briefings to him being a crazed egomaniac who wanted to make a splash before getting fired. 3 different explanations from 3 different officials for the same resignation. That pattern should be familiar. One more number that matters here. The United States currently has no director of the National Counterterrorism Center. The country's top counterterrorism position is vacant, on day 18 of an active war in the Middle East. The third story is the one with the most immediate economic consequences. On the morning of March 17th, the UAE closed its airspace completely, not partially, not with restrictions, a full closure. The General Civil Aviation Authority described it as an exceptional precautionary measure to ensure the safety of flights and aircrews as Iranian missiles and drones came in. The closure lasted approximately 2 hours before authorities said the situation had stabilized and flights could resume. But here is the context that makes those 2 hours significant. Dubai International Airport is the busiest international airport on Earth by passenger volume. More than 90 million passengers passed through it in a single year before this war began. Aviation is responsible for at least 27% of Dubai's total GDP. The economic contribution is over $37 billion per year. For every single hour that flights are grounded, the Dubai economy loses approximately $4.25 million. 2 hours of full closure cost Dubai's economy roughly $8.5 million, before accounting for cancellations, diversions, and the downstream costs to airlines and passengers. This was not the first strike on Dubai's aviation infrastructure. March 1st, debris from an Iranian drone crashed through the roof of Terminal 3. 4 people injured. Infrastructure damaged. March 7th, another drone exploded near Terminal 3. 4 more people injured. March 16th, the day before this closure, an Iranian drone struck a massive fuel storage tank on the outskirts of the airport. A fire broke out. Flights were suspended for hours before partially resuming. Some long-haul departures were forced to make unscheduled refueling stops at Dubai World Central Airport because the main fuel facility had been damaged. That was the 4th drone-related incident at Dubai International in 18 days. The full airspace closure on March 17th came 24 hours after that fuel tank strike. Emirates Airline, the world's largest long-haul carrier, is operating at roughly 60% of its pre-war flight volume. Etihad is at approximately 15%. Qatar Airways suspended most flights entirely. The airline announced limited services operating between March 18th and March 28th. British Airways extended its reduced Middle East schedule. Flights from Abu Dhabi, Amman, Bahrain, Doha, Dubai, and Tel Aviv are all affected. Oman Air suspended routes to 9 destinations: Dubai, Bahrain, Doha, Dammam, Kuwait, Baghdad, and 4 others, until March 31st. Fly Dubai services to Delhi, Karachi, Islamabad, and Dammam were cancelled or delayed. The European Union Aviation Safety Agency has issued a warning against operating at any altitude across the airspace of Iran, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, the UAE, Oman, and Saudi Arabia. Every country, every altitude. Dubai's airport was built as the connective tissue of global aviation, the hub that links Europe to Asia, Africa to Australia, east to west. That connective tissue is being progressively cut by this conflict. And on day 18, the busiest international airport on Earth closed completely, even if only for 2 hours, twice, because of incoming Iranian fire. Here's the thread that connects today's 3 stories. Larijani's death removes the one Iranian official who had both the internal credibility and the external diplomatic experience to help end this war. Israel sees that as a strategic victory. Others see it as removing the last figure who could have shaped an off-ramp. Joe Kent's resignation puts on public record, from inside the Trump administration, that the intelligence community's top counterterrorism official did not believe Iran posed an imminent threat when this war was started. The UAE airspace closure demonstrates that on day 18, the world's busiest aviation hub is still being directly targeted and is still sustaining enough pressure that a full airspace shutdown became necessary. 3 data points from a single day. None of them suggest this war is in its final stages. Larijani will be replaced by someone. Nobody has confirmed who. The National Counterterrorism Center will get a new director. Nobody has named one. Dubai's airspace will stay open until the next strike closes it again. The Strait of Hormuz remains functionally closed to commercial shipping. Brent crude is above $100 per barrel. No ceasefire framework exists. 1245 to 1330. Day 18. Iran's most powerful surviving official, the man who was in practice running the country's day-to-day war strategy, is dead. America's top counterterrorism director, a Trump appointee, a combat veteran, a MAGA Republican, resigned and said publicly that Iran posed no imminent threat when this war was ordered. The UAE closed its airspace completely for the first time in its history. And tomorrow, there will be a day 19. Next video, we are going to go deep on what Larijani's death actually does to Iran's command structure. Who is left? Who might replace him? And whether removing the one man who knew how to negotiate makes this war harder or easier to end. That is the question nobody is asking loudly enough today. I will see you there.